Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Tuesday, the 13th of August 2024. Today's Millwall news: it was double match day as the first team and the under-21s play today. And we're going to start off with the match report from the first team's Carabao Cup first round victory away at Portsmouth. This is from the official website, millfc.co.uk. Romain Esse scored the winner as Mill advanced to round 2 of the Carabao Cup with a first round victory over Portsmouth on Tuesday night. The attacker struck in the first half to beat Pompey at Fratton Park. Head coach Neil Harris handed debuts to Liam Roberts and Macaulay Langstaff on the south coast, with Alfie Massey making his professional debut in the centre of midfield. The likes of Sean Hutchinson, Tom Bradshaw, Duncan Watmore and George Saville took places on the substitutes bench. Both sides traded shots on goal in the early going, Dami Omaku most notably for the Lions, whilst the set piece at the other end saw Riley Towler bundle the ball over the crossbar. On 13 minutes, Mill took the lead. After the ball was worked into the penalty area, Esse showed class and composure to keep the ball at his feet and guide a strike into the bottom corner. If you haven't seen it, check it out. George Honeyman battling away. We're all battling away. We're doing the high pressing stuff up the top end of the pitch. George Honeyman battles away to get the ball back. Just as he's about to run into goal, Romain Esse comes in, takes it off of him basically, which fair enough. I think he did a lot better than I think George Honeyman would have done, and he ends up scoring. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Half-hearted penalty appeals correctly went begging as Zach Swanson took a tumble under the close attentions of Joe Bryan shortly before the half-hour mark, with the next effort going the way of Millwall 3 minutes before the half-time break as Omaku strung the offside trap only to see his shot blocked behind. George Honeyman proved to be everywhere in the first half, and that continued into the second as he raced to win the ball back around 30 yards from Millwall's goal, only for Danny McNamara's cross to be blocked by the Portsmouth defence. Connor Ogilvie and Terry Devlin then went close as the home side sought the equaliser with the hour mark approaching, but the next big opportunity fell at the feet of Honeyman on 59 minutes after a combination of Esse and Omaku set up the midfielder's goal-bound effort stopped by the flailing Pompey bodies, however. Esse called an attempt over the top before a raft of substitutions saw Bradshaw, Saville and Ryan Leonard come into the game. Watmore then followed before two Portsmouth substitutes combined to set up a chance, but Callum Lang headed Paddy Lane's header wide. Swanson's vital interception prevented Watmore from putting Esse into the clear with 5 minutes to play, and when Towler's back post header into the final seconds of stoppage time went wide, it was to be the Lions' night as they advanced to round 2. Lovely jubbly, and good stuff as well. Why is it good stuff? Because there's the stats there if you wanted to see them. 13,913 crowd. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's a lot better than we would have got in a home game. 858 away fans. This is good because obviously money. We go into the second round. Obviously not a lot of money, but it's extra money. So I imagine the club budget every year. I imagine they say, well, we've got a first round Carabao Cup game, we've got a third round FA Cup game, and that's it. So they budget. I imagine they budget for 46 league games and 2 cup games, and that's it. We now have an extra cup game. Lovely jubbly. So again, hopefully an easy game in the next round, or a very winnable game. In the next round, and let's go as far as we can, make some money and get some players in, I would say. So the team was as follows: Roberts, McNamara playing right back today before being I think he did switch. Harding, Cooper, Bryan, Denor, Massey, Esse, Honeyman, Omaku, Langstaff. The substitutes coming on were Leonard on 65 minutes for Bryan, Hutchinson on 83 minutes for Denor, Saville on 65 minutes for Massey, and Watmore on 74 minutes for Omaku, and Bradshaw on 65 minutes for Langstaff. What can I say about this game? The unused substitutes were Jensen, Nisbet and Carl Smith. That is one less substitute than you are allocated. Obviously, there was an under-21 games today, and I imagine one of the players that would have taken that ninth and final spot on the substitutes bench was playing in the under-21 game against a very good Burnley team, and we just about got away out of that with a draw, and we'll get into that later. So, how did we do? Roberts, is he any good? Is he better than Jensen? We don't know. He didn't really have a save to make. There was one cross that he came up for and kind of missed it. A couple of kicks that he misplaced. Some that I think one that he kicked out, and one that where they kick it and it doesn't get any height on it and it just goes through the middle of the park. And that was a bit eggy. But other than that, he done okay in terms of like making himself big enough, covering the goal. I think he did put the players off. I think as well, I would say, goalkeepers wearing black. I think that's a lot. I think that's a bit more, you could say it's psychological, you could say it's nonsense, but I think wearing black is a lot more impactful than wearing pink. I think so. I think so. So we'll see. So maybe Jensen will start at Bristol City, and if he's playing wearing black, maybe we'll see if he plays a lot better than he did at the Watford game. Other players, Langstaff didn't really have that much to do, to be honest. He went unseen, unheard. But the thing is, once he went off and Bradshaw came on, it was... Then you notice Bradshaw. It's like Langstaff was doing stuff, you didn't really notice him. Like he wasn't doing anything bad. He was really more or less the Emaku, Essay and Honeyman show. But Bradshaw, I mean, when he came on, just going up for aerial duels and falling over, like getting the ball, trying to run forward with it, getting fouled and falling out, or trying to fall over and get a foul. It was just, it wasn't all that. Massey done very well. Again, maybe a few crunching tackles that could have went against him. But yeah, he did pretty well. Harding did okay. Yeah, but I mean, it was a lot better performance than against Watford. A lot better performance. I'm not just saying that because we won. It was a lot better. We controlled the game. Obviously, Portsmouth did have a spell here or there, but we did control the game. We passed it very well. We're going forward with it. We created a few chances. Obviously, we'll discuss that in tomorrow's video when I look at the stats from the game. Because obviously, I don't know if you know this, when you get the stats, they give you an initial one, and then they actually get some kind of AI to look at the game, and they do it properly. So we'll have a look at that tomorrow. Now, moving on to this, they were wearing the new, what do they call it? Silver kit, grey kit, grey and white. And this, if we keep winning, wearing this kit, this will be a fans' favourites kit. So we've got some pictures from the game. That was the goal. That was a go back there and see that. You can see that was the goal. And Mako scored. SA scored. Lovely stuff. You see, look, there's 3 defenders around him. Couldn't do jack about it. And you can see the fans not happy about that. Look, they're all in the crowd wearing their shirts. And there's Langstaff there. You can see him on the right, Joe Bryan. He's smiling. He loved that. There's Langstaff putting himself about. And yeah, like Langstaff did put himself about like the old Tom Bradshaw used to do. And I think he was a lot better at it, to be honest. Here's Massey there getting involved. Essay. Danny Mack being moved around in today's game. Cooper. And we're back to begin, so there you go. Now I've got some post-match comments from the manager, Neil Harris, from the londonnewsonline.co.uk. So Millwall's young guns impressed their boss in the EFL Cup win at Portsmouth. Millwall head coach Neil Harris was quick to praise his young players after their 1-0 EFL Cup win at Portsmouth. Romain Esse scored his third senior goal for the Lions with a classy finish after George Honeyman had won possession on the edge of the penalty area. Harris started Esse 19 and Adomo Maku 20 on each wing, with academy product Alfie Massey 18 making his debut in central midfield. Firstly, I'm delighted to win the game, said Harris. Secondly, thank you for the brilliant following to come support us. I'm delighted they got to see a victory. There are some real positives tonight. The first is that we didn't feel sorry for ourselves on the back of a late winner against us when we've clearly deserved to win the game on Saturday. We bounced back in a correct manner. And the huge professionalism the boys showed early on Sunday morning when I got them in, and on Monday before coming down today. More vital probably than that is the performance of the three young lads in the team tonight. Romain to score the goal, Adomo to show glimpses of his raw power and pace and directness, but also Alfie Massey made his debut for the football club tonight, and that'll be very special for him and for his family. We were the better team. Portsmouth had some good pressure in the second half, and when people looked at the size and the names on the team sheet, it might not have been renowned as a Millwall team or a Neil Harris team here. We went a little bit younger and faster tonight, and we knew set plays were going to be a real avenue for them. And I told the lads, you're outsized, apart from Jake, and you're not the biggest team, but you're going to have to dig in and do a job, and their only chances came from set plays. Other than that, we created 3 or 4 really good chances other than that goal, and we could have won the game by a lot more. Summer signing Macaulay Langstaff made his first start for Millwall. Asked for his assessment of the former Notts County striker, Harris said, he did well. He's learning the game all the time. It's not just about being able to stick the ball in the net, and he's learning about how we're going to get there. And he's adapting to Championship football and adapting to the way I want to play him. A different style to what he's used to at Notts County. He's learning about how to press for my team, and he's developing all the time. I'm going to keep saying the same thing. We have to keep being patient with him. It's a huge step up, even for a 27-year-old. But he's got huge energy and real desire, and he wants to learn. He played 30 minutes at the weekend, and he had that experience at the Den. He's played 62 minutes tonight and got that experience from a Championship standard game. And he will just get better and better the more time he's on the pitch. That's kind of alarming. He did well. He's learning the game all the time. It's not just about being able to stick the ball in the net. It's about learning how we're going to get there. Oh dear, he's adapting to Championship football and adapting to the way I want to play him. A different style to what he's used to at Notts County. He's learning how to press my team. He's doing them all the time. Oh dear, don't. You know what you're doing at Notts County, Macaulay? Scoring all those goals. You don't do that here. Because what we want you to do is just run around, and because we like it when they run around. Jesus Christ. Okay, we'll see how that works out. Hopefully it's keep the goals and do a bit of extra running around, not one for the other. But there you go. That's Neil Harris after today's win in the Carabao Cup. And by the way, the draw is tomorrow on Sky Sports after the Middlesbrough game. I've forgotten who they're playing. It might be Swansea, I'm not too sure. But yeah, so after that game on Sky Sports, it's going to be live on the television for the draw. And we'll see who we get. And now we're going to move on. I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is that Millwall have signed a player. Way. The bad news is that you don't start work until January the 1st, 2025. Boo. Bizarre story coming from Scotland, the land of the Scotty. The dailyrecord.co.uk. Celtic midfielder Daniel Kelly is set for Millwall as Lions look to win race for talented team. So this was put up this morning, 12:20. in the afternoon. The 18-year-old's contract at Celtic is up at the end of December, which is kind of weird in itself, and London looks set to be his next destination. Okay, is this another one of those clickbait stories? That's what you're thinking, but then you're thinking, well, it's the Daily Record, a renowned, prestigious Scottish publication. Surely not. And surely they won't make up stuff about Celtic. They'll get pelters from their readers if they did that. But so English Championship side Millwall set to win the race to sign Celtic midfielder Daniel Kelly. The 18-year-old, who hails from East Kilbride, has been frozen out of the Hoops' first-team squad by Brendan Rodgers after turning down a new deal at Celtic Park earlier this summer, leaving Kelly to play in the Lowland League with the B team until his contract expires on December the 31st. Oh dear. But Lanarkshire Live Sport understands Kelly is set to make a decision on his future, and talks have been held with the Lions about a move down south in January to play first-team football, and despite interest from a number of clubs across Europe, including Bayer Leverkusen, London is now expected to be his next destination. Kelly enjoyed a fantastic breakthrough season with the Celtic first team last term, netting his first senior goal on his debut in a 7-1 win over Dundee at Celtic Park in February, and making 5 appearances as the Hoops won a League and Cup double. I believe all 5 of them were off of the bench, so the former St Leonard's primary school pupil first caught the eye of Celtic, playing above his age group for East Kilbride Caledonian Fizzles 2014, and has been with the Hoops ever since. Okay. But now his spell with his boyhood heroes is set to come to an end. Is the story going on, or these websites with their adverts? I think that's it, but I'm going to say that's it. So yeah, that's a weird one. So like I said, that popped up in the afternoon, and you're thinking, is this clickbait? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Well, no, actually. We then have the londonnewsonline.co.uk, Richard Corley, publishes this in the afternoon from the South London Press. Top Celtic prospect Daniel Kelly signs pre-contract agreement to join Millwall. Not exclusive, but I think he was the first one that said it. He's definitively stating that it has happened. Millwall set to pull off a major coup with highly rated Celtic midfielder Daniel Kelly signing a pre-contract agreement to join them at the start of 2025. The 18-year-old, who has been linked in and attracted interest from big clubs in Europe, is out of contract at the end of this year. Again, like I said, that's kind of weird. Why has he got a contract that runs out on December the 31st? That doesn't really make any sense. I don't know why that would be the case. I know, obviously, you've been at Celtic all this while. Surely they would have a contract that covers the season. I know if he joined from a club that's in the Irish League, obviously that's a summer league. He might have a contract that goes from maybe March or April to December. That would make sense. Like we learned about that with Kevin Muscat. He had the contract till December the 31st for the Yokohama team. But why a Scottish club, especially Celtic, would do that doesn't really make any sense. I don't know. Kelly's been on the Lions' radar for the past 12 months, and they considered a move for him in the January transfer window. Kelly signed his first professional deal with the Scottish Giants in 2022 and made his debut in a 5-0 win over Bucky Thistle in January. Celtic boss Brendan Rodgers had been asked about Kelly after he was left out of their pre-season plans. Kelly is poised to become a Millwall player on January the 1st and expected to go into the first team squad alongside the likes of Edomu, Emaku and Adam Mayer. I like Daniel, but he's got a lot of work to do, and I feel that for him and the family, and that's a great place for him to be able to do that, said Rodgers. You got a manager who sees a ton there. He sees the physicality he has and areas he needs to brush up. What a great club and place this is for him to be able to do that. If it's not enough for him, then that's okay. It's absolutely fine. It's disappointing that it hasn't happened because he would have been a great opportunity this pre-season. And it's a contract that would have seen him come into the first team squad and play and perform and develop because he has a lot of development to do. And I spoke with the agents and players some months back to say, listen, if we can get this tidy this up by the summer, then it's very hard to be with the team in pre-season. It's simple as that. So that was Brendan Rodgers there, Celtic manager. Basically, because they didn't sort him out of contract, they said, well, go on then, off you go, which is kind of weird. Like how long were they negotiating a contract? And how kind of weird. You think he's been there? They're saying he's been there since 2004. How can he be there since 2004 when he's 18 years, and that was 20 years ago? Do they mean 2014? I think that may have been a typo. It must have been 2014 because then, he would have been 8 years old playing for a team of 10-year-olds. Does that make sense? I think that was a typo before. I think that's supposed to be 2014. So he's been there for, say, 10 years. Let's say he's been at Celtic for 10 years as a kid. And they just throw the kid under the bus like that. They say, oh, you're too small. You need to bulk up. You need to grow up. You need to have your Weetabix. And then they talk about contracts. And they're basically saying, you're useless. You're too small. You're not very good. But sign this long-term contract for very little money, please. And he's rightly said, well, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, you're saying I'm not very good. And you want me to sign this extra long contract? Again, we don't know what's happened. Now, there may be some other things in the situation. So obviously, we've got this. This is basically confirmation, but we have the confirmation of all confirmations when it comes from the Millwall manager. So they asked him after the match, because obviously I imagine they were at the match, Richard Corley and the geezer for the Southwark News, or maybe he was watching at home, I don't know what their budget goes to these days. So they asked him, what's the deal with the kid from Celtic? And Neil Harris said, let me tell you. So from the londonnewsonline.co.uk, Millwall boss Neil Harris confirms deal for Celtic midfielder Kelly. Millwall head coach Neil Harris has confirmed that a deal has been agreed to sign Celtic midfielder Daniel Kelly on January the 1st, 2025. The 18-year-old is out of contract at the end of December. The Scottish Giants have frozen Kelly out of their first team picture since the start of pre-season due to the fact that no agreement had been reached on a contract extension. Harris, speaking after tonight's 1-0 EFL Cup win at Portsmouth, said, Dan has agreed to join the club. A deal's been agreed and he signed, and he officially joins us in January. He's a young player that falls into the mould of Romain, Adoma and Alfie, that we think's got huge potential. And the board wants us to be that football club. The football club wants to evolve and sign younger players. Jimmy wants to give the younger players an opportunity, as I did last season. I've done in the past with Fred and Aidan, Ben Thompson, with Jed Wallace and George Saville and Jake Cooper. And we want to be that football club that brings players in and gives them the opportunity. And it's the only way for us as a football club to evolve and develop is by playing young players and adding value to the squad. And you'll see more young players come into the building, but better than anybody, I also know the board understands that if you're going to have younger players, then you need real Millwall experience as well, and that's real leadership qualities and good Millwall men. And we've got some really good Millwall men at the moment, so it's a good time for us to add younger players. Kelly's a very good player. Like when Dan first walked into the building, he's not going to be someone that everyone should expect to go straight into the team. He's very young, but everyone should take heart that they've seen Alfie Massey make his debut tonight. It was an outstanding performance. And Dan is box-to-box midfielder, probably an old-fashioned 8 who's got great energy. And I liken him to a young George Saville when he first came to the football club. He breaks into the box and scores goals. He's got great passion and real aggression to his play, and Harris was asked about the latest state of play on incoming deals. He said, I thought it was important on Saturday. I got the narrative to the fan base that we're not finished in the transfer market. We're not in acceptance with where we're at, and I am demanding as a manager, and everybody sees it in the football club. We're progressing. We've got a huge support from Jimmy over the last few days with it, and there will be additions. I'll love to have players in as soon as possible, but I also accept, and I have been involved in a lot of conversations with the board over the last 72 hours, and these things take time, and we know we need to add, and we will. So there you go. Do not give up hope. Obviously, the window slams shut at the end of the month. We've got, literally 2 weeks to go. Don't panic. Don't panic, everyone. Don't panic. So, who is he? Who is he? Well, it's very hard to find out because obviously making 4 or 5 substitute appearances for the Celtic team, a few of them in the various cup competitions that aren't really covered in terms of the stats website, so we don't really know what he's done and how he's played. It's one of those ones where if you're just going off stats, you wouldn't really know the lad. You need someone who's scouting, especially in Scotland, because you don't get the stats from the Lowland League. So Celtic B, that B team. This is from CelticFC.com. He's got a squad number 48. He plays for Celtic B in the Lowland League. Their season's just started. They played 4 games. I believe he scored the other day, so he is playing for them. Now, it will be interesting to see what they do now. Do they continue to play him? Do they try and sort out a deal with Millwall where they go, well, I'll tell you what, if you want to sign him now, you can pay us this much and then have a sell-on fee, and we'll probably go, no, it's all right, we'll wait till January. We're in no rush. So there you go. You can see there. Signing his first professional contract in 2022. It's been an impressive few years for the talented midfielder, earning his first taste of B-team football in the Young Hoops' first campaign in the Lowland League. Kelly became a regular in Darren O'Day and Stephen McManus' side the following season. So yeah, I think this is a new thing that they've just allowed the Celtic reserves and Rangers reserves, and I think Hearts as well, to join the Lowland League. I think not last season, but the season before. So I think 2 or 3 years they've been doing it, and they let them do it. And it's obviously it's giving them like kind of first team men's football in a way. So there you go. So becoming a regular in Darren O'Day and Sean McManus' side the following season. Featuring in the midfielder competition such as UEFA Youth League, Kelly played his part in the Celts' successful 2023 Glasgow Cup campaign. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming that's... well, I don't know what to assume. I think it's basically probably like a Glasgow Cup. If I were to guess, I would say it's like the Kent FA Cup or the London FA Cup. It's literally like a cup competition for youth teams in Glasgow, I'm guessing. The midfielder maintained that momentum into the following season and impressed during a spell with the first team in pre-season, joining Brendan Rodgers' side in Portugal and Japan. Okay, so they've seen he's good in the youth team. They say, hey, come, little boy, come over here and come play for the first team. And then, so they've obviously dangled the carrot in front of him, and then put the contract in front of him. And when he hasn't signed, when he hasn't wow, you want to offer a big contract? Wow, let me sign. Oh, how much am I getting? How long? How bad is this contract? And then they've hit him with the sticks, a carrot and stick. Following an impressive opening 6 months of the campaign, which included scoring 2 goals in the UEFA Youth League and an impressive strike against Brighton in the Premier League International Cup, the midfielder went on to make his first team debut. Coming off the bench during the 4th round victory over Bucky Thistle, The 18-year-old has continued to be involved with the first team, consistently being named on the bench at the beginning of 2024. Certainly in the last season. So there you go. There he is with the Glasgow Cup. City of Glasgow Cup. Fantastic. So he already knows how to win. It looks like there's other pictures going around. Okay. That's it. So there you go. That's who he is, and that's who we've signed. He's not coming in until January now. What's going on? What is going on? Why we just keep signing children? Adamea, Maku. What's going on? What's happening? Now, I saw this and I thought this might be relevant. I saw it a few days ago. I thought it might be relevant. This is from 442.com. Remember them? They used to be a magazine. I think they still are. What are the EFL squad rules for 24-25? Loanee limits, homegrown players, and how many subs are allowed. Championship, League 1 and League 2 clubs have rules to follow about their squads and who they can pick on a match day. So let's have a look at this. So, fans of clubs who have changed divisions for the new season, or even just those who need a refresher a year on from the last time they thought about it whatsoever, may be curious to know the EFL squad rules for 24-25. Each EFL club needs to stay within league criteria for the composition of their squads, which includes rules around number of loan players, homegrown players, and under 21s. Here's the current state of play for the 72 Championship, League 1 and League 2 clubs as spelt out in the 2024-25 EFL Handbook. So it's all in the EFL Handbook, which you can find at efl.com/documents/EFL-handbook.pdf. How do you print a PDF? Don't ask me. What are the EFL squad rules? Well, for now, let's talk about the overall squad size that needs to be registered for the season rather than the matchday squad, which differs slightly. Championship clubs can have squads of up to 25 players, of which a minimum of 8 need to be homegrown. We'll come on to what that means in a moment, and that's what tickled my interest in our signing of all these young players, especially ones from abroad. For League 1 and League 2 clubs, it's a maximum of 22 players, of which at least 8 need to be homegrown. On top of that, you're allowed as many under 21 players as you like in League 1 and League 2 squads, whether they're loanees or your own youngsters, because those players don't need to be registered to the squad list to be eligible to play. You don't need to register goalkeepers of any age in Leagues 1 and Leagues 2 either, so they don't count towards the 22 player squad maximum. That comes in handy when we need to loan out our youngsters to League 1 and League 2 teams. Because they're under the age of 21, they don't count towards the matchday squads, or not matchday squads. They don't count until the season squads. In the Championship, however, where we are, you're allowed an unlimited amount of under 21s on permanent contracts without registering them, but you would need to register any loanees among your 25 players, even if they're under 21s. Unlike the lower tiers, goalkeepers over the age of 21 also have to be registered as part of the 25-man squad in the Championship. So we're allowed to have a 25-man squad. It's a limit to stop people from spending too much money. So because we're in the Championship, the 3 goalkeepers that we have take up that 25-man squad. So that leaves us with 22. If we loan any players in, whether that would I guess that would be from the Premier League, but even if it's from a League 1 team, although I don't know why we would do that, they count towards the players that are registered in your squad for the season. So unlike Leagues 1 and Leagues 2, where they can have an unlimited amount of under 21 players in the season squad, not in the matchday squad, there's a limit on that. But in the Championship, it's different. So wondering why our loans this season haven't happened. We haven't had any loans yet. Because they count towards the squad list. So it might not be possible. I don't have we got 25 players? I think we have. I think we do have 25 players. And then why, and as well as, so why you think we have the under 21 players and they're in or about the squad, they make the bench, they don't play, and as soon as they hit 21, they get shown the door. Because there's by law, by rules and regulations, there is a limited amount of players that you're allowed to register over the age of 21. And if you're a 22-year-old who's come through the Millwall youth team, if you're not good enough to stake a claim and get one of those, it was 25, obviously you got 3 goalkeepers, 22. So if you're not good enough to get one of those 22 spaces, which don't count if you're 21. If it's 21, it's free. You don't take up a space. As soon as you go 22, you take up a space. Are you good enough to take up a space? If not, arrivederci, ciao bella, you have to leave. And that's what these rules are, the things that you don't see that people in the football business know, and that's why it is what it is. It's the red tape and it's the regulation. So you've got this really good under 21 player. He's fantastic. He's doing well in the under 21s. He's on the bench for a few times for the first team. As soon as he gets to 22, he's got to be good enough to take one of those 22 places in the squad. And if he ain't, he has to leave. After the closure of the summer transfer window, every club needs to have at least one club developed player in their squad. This is another thing. You can have as many loanees in the overall squad as you want, but can only name up to 5 of them in any given matchday squad. And you're also not allowed to loan more than 4 players from any one club during a season, of which only 2 can be aged over 23. So obviously I think that was brought in. We had got these clubs now that are owned by owners, the same owners in different countries, like Udinese and Watford, and they would loan in players from one to the other and all of that stuff, and limits were put onto that. So here we go. So in terms of, so every club needs to have at least one club developed player in their squad. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you now. What qualifies as homegrown, club developed and under 21 in the EFL? For a player to be considered homegrown by the EFL, they don't necessarily need to be British. It's not about citizenship. They can be any nationality, or to have been trained by that specific club. All that is required to qualify as homegrown is to have been registered with any club affiliated to the FA or the FA of Wales for at least 3 seasons or 36 months prior to their 21st birthday, or the end of the season they turn 21. Has the penny dropped yet? How old is Daniel Kelly? He's 18. He comes to Millwall, 19, 20, 21. Basically, he needs to move to England now, because it says here, the FA or the FA of Wales. Why does it say that? I don't know why it says that. I'm going to guess that the English legal system, England and Wales, they have the same legal system. The Scottish don't have the same legal system. So I'm going to guess it's not enforceable or whatever. There's some kind of reason there. Because the FA and the FA of Wales, they're different bodies. They have different kind of rules as well. But for their saying here, it's the same between both of them. So the reason why I think we're going in for this lad, or he wants to leave Celtic, if he moves to England from Scotland now, when he's 18, he can, for the rest of his life, get the tag on him as a homegrown player. And that is insanely important for any player. Now, here's the thing. If he's super duper fantastic, it doesn't really matter, because he can then come into a squad and take up one of the places for a foreigner. He can be considered a foreigner. He can come in. Doesn't matter. They're not banning you. It's just you need to be good enough to take up a spot. if he gets the homegrown tag on him, he can just be kind of average, and it would give him an advantage over someone who doesn't have that tag. Do you understand? But he needs to move now, because he needs 36 months before his 21st birthday or the end of the season that they turn 21. I don't know why it's two different things, but it is. And he'll come in, he'll get the homegrown tag, and then he basically gives him an advantage going forward, playing in the English FA system. We can't see anything to say loanees are excluded from counting as homegrown players. Their definition of under 21 this season is very simply defined as any player born on or after January 1st, 2004. A club developed player, however, is any player who was at the club for at least 12 months prior to the end of his under 19 season. Basically, anyone who was signed to the club for at least a year as a teenager, even if they were out on loan. So again, here we go. Why are we signing all these 18 years old? Because they count as a club developed player. And we'll get into that in a minute, why that's important. Remember, you need to have at least one club developed player. So at the moment, I would say our club developed players, I don't know this for sure, it's almost certainly Billy Mitchell, Danny McNamara, Massey, the ones who have played, Massey, Romain Esse, and maybe even Adoma Maku, because I think he came here when he's 19, but I'm not too sure about that. But I think it means at least 12 months. I don't think he was here then, so I'm not sure about that. So there you go. So what are the Matchday squad rules? Let's have a look at this. In all three EFL leagues, clubs have to name at least 7 homegrown players among their Matchday squad for any one game. So as we've just said, so they need to name 7 players who have been in the English youth system. So Millwall have to name 7 players that have been in the English youth system every match day. Clubs also need to name at least one club developed player in their matchday squad. If they don't, then they must name one fewer player on the bench. That wasn't what happened today, by the way, because we had one less sub. That wasn't what happened today. So yeah, you can not do that, but it means you give up one substitute player on the bench. As we touched on earlier, a maximum of 5 loanees can be named in one matchday squad, or 4 if one of them is an emergency goalkeeper loan. Breaking any of these rules can lead to sanctions against the club. So there you go. What are the EFL substitution rules and how the concussion subs work? Not really bothered about that. I just wanted to tell you about basically, so why we keep signing all these young players, because now that this guy's signed for Millwall, he's going to get that homegrown tag on him, which he doesn't need a work permit because he's a British citizen. So there's all kind of different rules. There's British rules, there's FA rules, there's FAW rules, there's Scottish FA rules, but he's a British citizen, he's allowed to come to England to work, so he's coming in to sign for Millwall. He gets that homegrown player tag. It helps him out going forward in his career, even if he doesn't play for Millwall, even if he's not a championship quality player. If he goes to League 1 or League 2, that helps him out. It gives him that tag, and it helps him out to get in matchday squads going forward for the rest of his life. So that's what I think is happening in terms of why we keep signing these players. And I wonder whose idea it is. Is it the players and their players' agents trying to do that, or Millwall trying to entice them, saying, look, if you do this move, you're going to get the homegrown player tag and that'll help you out. I don't know, but interesting little transfer. Now moving on to this from millwallfc.co.uk. a match report from the under-21 game today, which was exciting. Did you watch it? It was streamed live on Mill TV. 77 minutes of the Connell Truman show. I think Connell Truman, after the Jensen display on Saturday, realises he might be in with a shout of getting in the first team, and he had an outstanding, energetic performance, making some cracking saves. I think he should pay someone to do a edit and then email it to Neil Harris. Absolutely brilliant. The only thing is, the stream had a bit of trouble, and it cut out for 4 minutes around about the 77th minute, and during that time, because Millwall were losing 1-0 at the time, during that time, Millwall equalised for a penalty, and we missed. I was watching it whilst also on Dan from Lions TV was doing a watch along. He did 2 watch alongs a day. Busy day for Dan at Lions TV. Good time was had by Hall in the chat. Always fun to follow along live events in the chats. It was good. And what was I going to say? Yeah, we missed it. So we missed it, cut out. We missed the penalty being awarded. We missed the penalty being scored. And then when it came back on, because we had to refresh it and log back in, the screen showed it was 1-1. It's like, well, what the fuck's going on? What happened? And only just now, just before coming on to record this, found out, because the highlights are on the Mill TV. If you've got Mill profile, go in and you should be able to see it. I think it's just with a profile. Maybe it's not Mill TV Plus. I'm not too sure. They got the highlights in there. Found out it was a handball. So it was given for a handball, and it was scored. So let's have a read of the match report. So Mill under-21s began their 24-25 Professional Development League season with a 1-1 draw against Burnley. Was that the Den? Oh yeah, Jafet Tanganga played, by the way. The Clarets took the lead early in the second half, but Emery Hearn equalised from the penalty spot 10 minutes from time to earn Kevin Nugent's side a draw. Jafet Tanganga played the full fixture, whilst Connell Truman also gained minutes between the sticks following his return from injury. Next up for Millwall's under-21s is a trip to Coventry City on Tuesday the 20th of August. I think most of the games now are behind closed doors at training grounds and whatnot. Obviously, I'm going to keep an eye on it. If there is a game that will be held at the stadium that you could go to, I will let you know beforehand in advance. This game was held at the Den. Not really a match report, to be honest. Just basically just keynotes. So I watched the game. Like I said, I can give you probably a match report of sorts. Burnley were very good. Burnley were very, very good, passing it around, moving the ball, keeping onto it, etc. Not really a lot going forward. Mill, very impressive play. And if we go through the team, Truman, Ollie Evans, Drake, Lawson, Tanganga, Ockley, Baker, Bangora, Williams, Leahy, Hayward. And the substitutes were trialist 1 at half time. Yep, we're still playing trialists. The season started, we're still playing trialists. Trialist 3 on 51 minutes for Hayward, and Mansour on 66 minutes for Leahy. The subs not used were Przewozny in trialist 2. So what happened? We played very well. Obviously, Burnley did have a few chances, not very clear-cut ones. Truman made some very good saves. Burnley obviously trying to score, hit the post a number of times. Obviously, Truman guarding the goal and forcing Burnley to kick it onto the post. And Connell Truman doing very well to scramble back and get the ball. Like I said, it was like a man possessed. It was kind of what I was hoping to see from Roberts today, but Roberts didn't really have that much to do. But Connell Truman, oh my goodness! Like I said, when you play games, you got to make an effort. I mean, and he clearly made an effort. Obviously, he's fired up. I think he thought he was going to be the number 2. Unfortunately, he got injured, forcing us to go out and get a number 2. And he's now probably found himself down at number 3. Rather unfairly, but see, the club had to cover themselves in the goalkeeper position just in case off the bench. But he's obviously came back from the injury, and he only missed basically one first team game. So there you go. Yeah, Truman, and as well, Burnley had a free kick in the first half. They whipped it over the wall, and Truman just made an absolutely amazing save. Absolutely amazing stuff. In terms of going forward, not really much for Millwall, if I'm to be honest. It looked like we weren't going to score all day, if I'm being honest. And then at the end of the game, like I said, after 77 minutes, the feed cut out. We come back and on 82 minutes, and Millwall scored. Find out later that it was a shot that came in. Kind of, I think the goalkeeper parried it, and then their man was on the floor with Henry Hearn was going for it, maybe even Frankie Baker, and it looked like the ref gave it for handball. I think, I don't even know if it was. And then later on, like, the game just a match was lit. The game, like, we kept going through it. There's a ball over the top, and the player comes in, takes it in his stride, chests it forward in his stride, going at a diagonal away from the goal, and then twists his body and shoots it towards the goal, and it hits the post and comes back out. And like, that could have been 2-1 to Millwall, which would have been kind of harsh on Burnley, because they basically bossed the game, as these teams that play with a possession and play with it very well do. And then later on, they end up getting a player sent off, 2 yellow cards, I think, and that was it. So, in kind of a weird game, a very weird game. Tanganga played the whole 90 minutes. Very, very well, very good. Ockley as well alongside him. Obviously, Ockley, not the quickest of players, but his game management, his positioning, he's very on the ball. He's a very good player, Ockley. Lawson did okay. Draker did okay. Everyone did okay. No one really stood out, if I'm being honest. Leahy, I don't know if he was okay or what. I think he didn't really stand out. I think maybe he might have been a bit upset not being in the first team squad. Obviously, there was a game going on today, and as you saw, there was one less substitute. So I don't know if it was that, but whatever. So there you go. Like I said, the highlights are on the Mill TV, or just maybe the Mill TV. I don't know if you can see them free if you have to have the subscription, but they are available. Now we're going to finish the video by talking about this new stadium tour dates on sale. Well, not dates. This is from the official club website. A new batch of stadium tour dates are now on sale. Experience the magic within. Walk the path many Lions legends have taken, and feel the passion in SS16 on our 1-hour guided tour. The Den is one of the most iconic football stadiums in England, making it the perfect place to learn all about the colourful history and heritage of Millwall Football Club. The guided tour will start in the executive lounge before stopping off at various different locations inside the stadium, such as the director's box, the press area, and the Paul Jiggins media suite. The tour is rounded off by taking a player's walk from the dressing room through the tunnel and out to the dugouts. The experience cannot end without making sure you grab a picture next to Neil Harris's seats. And they have one date. It's just the one. And it's Saturday the 31st of August. Before the game, Sheffield Wednesday pre-match tour, 10:30am. It's £15 for adults, £10 concessions. If you're a season ticket holder, it's £13 and £8 for concessions. And if you're a season ticket holder, you get a £2 discount. So there you go. I wonder if are you allowed a bag in? I'm going to keep asking this every time. Obviously, the under-21 game at the Den today, were they allowed bags in? What about this? So you allowed a bag in? You should from now on, Millwall, every time you advertise a function at the Den, you should put underneath it whether people will be allowed to bring their bags in, and whether that will be, or if not, how much you're going to charge them to keep their bags outside. I think that's only right and proper. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.